Let's freaking go, Arkansas fans. This live stream is dedicated to each and every one of you. And today we are talking about Rocket Sanders and the injury. That's obviously the biggest story surrounding this team right now. How serious will it be for the Rocket to miss the season opener? And obviously, that stinks. You work so hard to play your games in Fayetteville. I know a lot of you are blaming that War Memorial turf. And as someone who has seen some gruesome injuries on that War Memorial turf, you might actually have a point. So, we're going to talk about that. I do want to talk a little bit about the Arkansas defense as well. And to me, the biggest thing as far as you Arkansas fans and what we've done here on Power Hour SEC, the biggest thing I've seen is you guys love the film study that we did. We put together an Arkansas film study. You guys loved it. It was bizarre because it got as many views as my LSU film study that I've been doing for years on a channel that is way bigger than this one. And that lets you know you Arkansas fans really do enjoy that type of content. So we're going to try and get as many film studies out during the course of the season, and we hope you enjoy it. Now, I do want to chat a little bit about the defense. So here to start off, and after rewatching this game versus Western Carolina, defense is more so the level of competition you're playing against. So there's really not so much you could take away from what Travis Williams and the Arkansas defense did this past weekend, but it was really good. Obviously ending with that pick six. And on top of that, obviously, I've enjoyed seeing this, a huge celebration of the all-black defensive staff that Arkansas has. I saw a really good report from Alyssa Orange of Pig Trail Nation earlier today on that, and I love that. I really do. It's good to see Travis Williams and his aggressive defense having a really good game one, but let's see what happens when you play tougher teams down the road. So obviously we're going to hang out normally about 30 minutes to 45. We're going to take as many of your questions. And this isn't going to just be an Arkansas live stream. We're going to take a look at the big games coming up this weekend. Obviously Texas and Alabama and so on and so on and so on. Because on Tuesday nights, 6 p.m. Central, you're going to get your general SEC show where we talk about Tennessee, South Carolina, and so on and so on and so on. So, we say hi to Joshua. We say hi to Tyler. Good to see you. And I want to actually talk about what I liked from the Arkansas defense. They did play fast. It did seem like that defense was playing a little bit more downhill. Obviously, very different from Barry Odom's defense, which is intended to keep just pretty much everything in front of you, which obviously opened yourself up to the run. And JAHEIM Thomas was a guy that looked really good to me. Obviously, the transfer from Cincinnati. And, I've always said this about just team defensive statistics, right? You don't ever want to take too much away from a defensive box score. You just don't. But one thing you can see is on tape who is really flying to the football, who is really putting themselves out there for the team. And JAHEIM Thomas was just all over the place. Now, I know he wasn't the one with the pick six. That, I believe, was Brad Spence. It was. I was just confirming that for you. And this is the defensive statistics from this game this past weekend. Okay. So obviously JAHEIM Thomas led the way for Arkansas with 8 tackles. Jaheim Singletary, I love that too. Jaheim Singletary, obviously the transfer coming over from Georgia. And Jaden Johnson is a guy that I've always liked watching from afar. He made some really nice plays in that Alabama game last year. And of course, Chris Paul, probably my favorite player to watch on this defense. And of course, it's not really a shock that you get an interception from Dwight Nudie McGlothern. Now, that is such an interesting nickname. I've never quite understood it. Dwight Nudie McGlothern. But obviously, offensively, what is this running back room going to look like without Rocket Sanders? I do think the rushing attack for Arkansas needs to get better. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. Um, but what I want to see is whether it's AJ Green, Augustave, Dominion, or Johnson. I want to see someone go out there and actually break some tackles, go out there, make some plays. And we just haven't really seen a running back outside of Sanders do that over the past year or so. So I am going to be interested to see that coming up as Arkansas gets ready for yet another weak opponent. So let me know what you guys think. And, I want to chat about not only Kent State, but BYU. I know you play Western Carolina this past weekend, but Kent State might be worse. And what's very interesting about that, and we're going to get into some general, we want to talk some Ole Miss Tulane. Let's do that, Derek. I'd love to do it. TJ Hawkins and Superfan Derek. I want to show you this, okay? And I think you guys would find this went out. I'm sorry about that. Um, just the schedule altogether, I have got to be real with you. You have the easiest non-conference schedule you have ever seen. And this is crazy. And I've been looking at Arkansas football for a while. So there you go. Let me see. How long was it? Pause. How long was the moment of silence? You guys let me know. Ha, 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 ha. I did accidentally mute myself. I don't know why. Sometimes when I show a different screen, it does that. So my apologies there. But yeah, I keep going back to the schedule. You are as good as your schedule is, oftentimes. And I would say this from the bottom of my heart if you're an Arkansas fan, you really should enjoy these softer schedules. You don't want to schedule what you had last year. Now, you did get a little unlucky that your non-conference slate had legendary coaches, right? Luke Fickell was at Cincinnati. There's no way you could have known Bobby Petrino was going to be at Southeast Missouri. And Hugh Freeze was at Liberty. Okay. This year, it is smooth sailing. It is smooth sailing. Schedule an FCS team. Schedule bad teams. Rack up those wins. Okay. Rack them up. Nobody cares. Beat bad teams, right? That's the one thing I would take away from the first week of SEC football. Beat bad teams. Don't challenge yourselves. Don't be Florida. Don't be South Carolina. Don't go out there and schedule non-conference games that you don't need to. Okay? So it'll go a long way. Let's go to Cody The SEC West is wide open, especially with LSU losing. Alabama and LSU hasn't impressed me. I do think the Hogs could win the West. It's open. It's absolutely open for you to actually win the West. And I do think Arkansas fans feel a lot more comfortable with the LSU game coming up here in a few weeks, right? You shut down Jaden Daniels last year, and you're going to go in with the mindset that you're going to try and do it again. So I still think LSU is a very good team. And if you're an Arkansas fan, I would not get too carried away with you playing Western Carolina and LSU playing what looks to be a college football playoff team. But I will agree with you, though, Cody. It is wide open. It is very much wide open. Okay. So there you go. Now, here's what we're going to do. I've shared everything I want to talk about Arkansas-wise. I don't want to talk too much about Kent State. They are in a clear rebuild. They're in a clear rebuild. And I believe their head coach is a first-time head coach. And he wasn't a coordinator. He was a running back coach. They're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. So I think if it was a better team, you could have potentially seen Rocket Sanders this weekend. But what I want to see is a running back who can separate themselves from the rest of the pack. That's what I want to see. Now, as always, if you want to get to any topic, any game, feel free to super chat. We'll talk about any SEC matchup that you want. Okay. So hi to William holding it down the PHL. Johnny says LSU, LOL. I've never heard that one before. That is very creative because the U sounds like the who. You are going crazy. Too bad Johnny Jones is actually a former LSU player. AJ Green is going to step up. Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for a running back to step up outside of Rocket Sanders. I'm waiting. And Johnny, look at you. You're rocking the LSU colors too. I understand we played a Western Carolina team, but we have definitely improved in the secondary, and those receivers look dangerous, says Cody. Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you, Cody. This is what I think can hold Arkansas back this year is your skill guys. You know, the offensive line does concern me. You guys are getting healthier there, but, you know, Isaac Tesla looked a lot better. Or is it Tesla? He looked a lot better than I thought. And his highlight reel catches, obviously, from where he was to where he is now, we always knew he could catch a football. But he looked really good blocking, looked really good doing all the little things right. And Armstrong from Texas A&M Commerce is a very interesting player. I do think you need some other skill guys to step up, whether that's Luke Haas, whether that's Isaiah Satania, whoever it may be. I do think, Cody, your weapons on the outside could be your downfall. I like the Arkansas defense. You're obviously very talented. The transfer portal has done you guys wonders. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Let's go to C. Braun here. What's up, C. Braun? SEC isn't faring well in the non-conference. I think Alabama versus Texas game holds a lot of significance for the national pecking order come playoff time. I could see it. Absolutely. I mean, yes, Florida looked bad versus Utah. Predicted. If you were subscribed to Power Hour SEC, you knew to take Utah -4. I even did a video on it. And I'm not a big picks guy, but I felt that confident about Florida looking terrible in week 1. Obviously, LSU fell apart in the second half, and they've got to figure some things out. And on top of that, you also had South Carolina lose. Another controversy coming out of there was Freddie Kitchens, who was with South Carolina last year. Apparently, some people feel he gave some of the signals away from South Carolina, who's running a very similar offense to what they did last year. And he gave them to North Carolina, apparently. I don't think that's big of a deal. I really don't. I think that happens more than you think. There's so many coaches that go from school to school. I do think, though, South Carolina was not smart in scheduling North Carolina. If you're going to play Clemson at the end of the year, why are you challenging yourselves? And that's why I didn't like the response to it. We should give South Carolina, Florida, and LSU some credit being bold in scheduling season opening games versus tough teams. Some schools are not bold enough to do that. They are not. And by some schools, Kentucky. I see it all the time for the Kentucky media. I see it all the time. The Kentucky media sharing Mark Stoops propaganda. It happened again today. Somebody from KSR tweeted out a puff piece with Mark Stoops. And every time with Mark Stoops, you always see his record is great, so on and so on. Well, no duh. He plays by far the softest schedule in the SEC. It's not even close. It's not been close since he's been there. And he gets credit. He gets credit for it when you can't name a signature victory from him since 2018. So it blows my mind how much love Mark Stoops gets when Kentucky never challenges themselves. But then again, is it smart? Should Arkansas take a more Kentucky route and just schedule the absolute softest teams they can in the non-conference? I want Arkansas fans to answer that down in the live chat if you're watching this live or if you're watching this down below. Cody says he disagrees. You think the receivers are good. Broden is 6'7". You also have Wilson, who house set screen. We'll only see when they actually play somebody. That's it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've always shown love for Arkansas for being bold in scheduling. Scheduling Texas probably wasn't the smartest move, but you beat them down. You beat them into a pulp. But one thing we don't want Arkansas to do, I say it's up to you guys, okay? I like it from a neutral vantage point because Arkansas's not my team. It's just not. But do you remember the days when Arkansas scheduled a home and home with US freaking C? US freaking C. In that, not South Carolina, the Reggie Bush USC. And I actually went to one of those. And I was like, God, dog, that is absolutely crazy. Now, of course, you couldn't have known that, Reggie Bush was there, but USC was USC. So, yeah. If it were me, I would like to think I would be bold and be like a South Carolina or Florida and say, hey, we're a proud group. Let's put Drake May on our schedule, that's not how it works, but still. Or should you do in Arkansas what you're doing this year? No, we're starting the season with Western Carolina and Kent State. God, Kent State's terrible. They're terrible. Yeah, and y'all are getting BYU in a down year. Y'all are getting BYU in a down year. I think a lot of you will take it. I'd take it. BYU lost their quarterback. BYU lost their best receiver. I think Arkansas is going to be 3-0 heading into Arkansas or heading into LSU. Here we go. We're going to take a look at the other SEC games. Derek wants to talk Ole Miss Tulane. 7.5 point spread. The Rebels are favored in New Orleans versus Tulane. 66.5 is the over-under total here. You look at the rest of the games, nothing really too great. I like Arkansas to cover the 38. I do. Don't love it, obviously, when you're having such a big spread there. Georgia minus 42. Wake Forest favored by 10. Missouri, Middle Tennessee State. Middle Tennessee State played Bama last week and now Missouri this week. This game was actually supposed to happen last year. Arizona, Mississippi State. And of course, a big kahuna here. Texas, Alabama. Derek says, give me the easiest schedule possible every year. Give you Bucknell to start the season. So Cody says, need not worry about the Arkansas run game. It was Western Carolina loading the box. That's why you couldn't get the run game going. I agree to a certain extent, but Sam Pittman, as an offensive line coach, is never going to take that. You know, he wants you to run the football no matter what. Auburn 6.5-point favorites all the way at Cal Berkeley with an over-under set at 54.5. I don't know a whole lot about Cal, but I think I'm leaning Auburn. I think I am. Tennessee, Austin P. Yeah. I will say this, Ole Miss got the short end of the stick when it comes to their non-conference. There's no way they could have known Tulane would have been nationally ranked and like really freaking good. So yeah. But if there's a game you guys want to talk about, we can get to it. Tulane, Miami. I say Tulane, Miami. Texas A&M, Miami. I do like Texas A&M. I do think that game's going to be ugly. And believe it or not, I actually do like Jimbo Fisher over the I do like Jimbo Fisher over Mario Cristobal, as crazy as that sounds. Let's see here. Oh, do we play a game before USC? No, I think USC's the season opener, right? James Madison is upsetting Virginia. I actually think James Madison is favored. Derek. You're laying the 35, Mike and M? Mike and M says, I will swallow that 35. It's actually up to 38 now. Colorado, 2.5-point favorites versus Nebraska. Type Y for yes, type N for no. If you are loving the Deion Sanders storyline and the Colorado Buffaloes. Notre Dame minus 7.5 versus North Carolina State. Cody's good. Dang, Cody, that's a bold score for Arkansas LSU. Look at this. He said, when we beaten LSU, you'll change your thinking. He is saying 54-10. Yeah, they are so bad. They are so bad, Mike and him. I'm loving the Deion Sanders storyline. I am. That's crazy. They're only 2.5-point favorites over Nebraska. I mean, Nebraska, how many more close games are they going to lose? Give me Colorado at home. Utah at Baylor? We're getting Baylor in a bounce back spot. Baylor at home last week loses to TJ Finley and LSU. I say LSU. And Texas State. Michigan 37.5-point favorites. And I've heard a lot of people drumming up interest here for this weekend in college football. I don't see it. I think the Colorado Nebraska game is fascinating, but that's because of one person, right? Texas Alabama obviously is a big game, and Ole Miss Tulane's very interesting. Texas A&M and Miami is very interesting, but I don't think it's some legendary weekend. I could be wrong though. It could be these games are just absolutely freaking crazy. At first, I was buying the hype, but now I've kind of faded on it just a little bit. Just a little bit. Oh, Mike says, let's go Vandy plus 10. Vanderbilt going to Wake Forest. All right. So we get Wake Forest here. No longer Sam Hartman. No longer Sam Hartman at Wake Forest. I did not see what Wake Forest did, and I should be prepared enough to know what Wake Forest did last week, but I do not talk a whole lot about Vanderbilt games. Now, one thing I do find interesting is this game is kicking off at 10 in the morning. Very interesting. So we're going Vanderbilt plus 10. Vanderbilt did play on Thursday. I don't know anything about Wake Forest. Cody, okay, that's what I thought you were doing. I was like, oh no, maybe he does think. No, that's what 2019 LSU did to Arkansas. But that was a Chad Morris team. Technically, it wasn't a Chad Morris team. They had an interim Barry Lunny team. But still, ironically, KJ, was that? I think that was KJ's first start. Still. William really thought USC would be North Carolina. No, I really love North Carolina in that spot. USC's roster is not that good. And I think Beamer is a special coach. But it wasn't one of my plays, but I was leaning towards the under for them. And I don't like their offensive line. I don't think Spencer Rattler is going to be that good if he doesn't have protection. I don't think he's the type of quarterback that can overcome bad protection. Some quarterbacks can, but or some quarterbacks are better at it than others, if that makes sense. So, C. Braun says, I'm taking Tulane to cover. I love it. Tulane to cover. Not the cover, to cover. NFL kicking off tonight. Travis Kelce probably not playing. Here's what's good. It's not only NFL, it's college too. And if you want to support me on Power Hour SEC, if you can't do a super chat, one thing you can do is go sign up for UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code is Carter. It's very simple, folks. Underdog Fantasy, UnderdogFantasy.com. Use that promo code Carter. You get a deposit match bonus up to $100, baby. UnderdogFantasy.com. I don't believe that. I think that game's going to be low scoring. I do. I really, really, really do. So, there you go. Now, we're reaching the end. I do want to show you guys something pretty interesting. Okay. I'm going to show you the Power Hour SEC page, and I want you to notice something. You Arkansas fans are crazy, y'all. Crazy. Look at this. Go to the videos. Just to show you guys why I do an Arkansas show every week. You got to tell your friends about it too. 10,000 views on the film study I put up last week. 10,000 views. I do a video about Florida, 693 views. Do a video about Auburn. I spent 3 days on this video, 319 views. Video on Arkansas, 1.3 thousand views. Video on Missouri, 109 views. Texas A&M, hey, that got shared on a message board. Another video, Arkansas, 4,000 views. My expose on Kentucky football, 870 views. Arkansas, 2.1 thousand views. I'm telling you, I'm not lying when I say you Arkansas fans show me the most love. Outside of course, my full-time gig doing LSU football, the greatest college football program ever. So there you go. My closest friends live in Fayetteville, ironically. So if I'm up in Fayetteville, all I need to know is who's taking me out. Are we going to JJ's? Is that where we're going? Is that the place to go? Are we going on Dixon's, or are we going to Z? What's the karaoke place called? Uno, whatever. I had some sushi off Dixon Street one time, someplace near Dixon, and it was so freaking good. So freaking good. A lot of good times partying in Fayetteville. A lot of good times. So there you go. Hey, I appreciate that, Sebron. I appreciate that. Quick story. Did you know Bill Belichick watches my film study? Totally kidding. Totally kidding. He might. I can't. He may or may not watch. I should just say that. But yeah, that's really, really freaking cool. Now, if you haven't seen it yet, you can go check it out. We're going to try and get one out after the game this week. And it'll probably, I don't know, it might be out Sunday or Monday, right? Because I got to do a bunch of film studies that day because, well, there's a lot of different teams. So subscribe, ring the bell, tell your friends about it. And type Y for yes, type in for no. Are you guys enjoying the Thursday night 6 p.m. live stream? I see 10 people. I appreciate 10. We get up to about 17, 18. That's obviously cool. But I need thousands in here. Thousands of hungry Razorback fans. Look, if y'all show up, that's fine. Y'all can talk trash about me all you want. So, let me see this real quick. Ooh. All right, y'all. We are signing off here. It is Hog Live on Power Hour SEC. Boom! LSU folks, we'll see you on the LSU channel tonight at 8:15. And tonight we're doing teriyaki salmon. Teriyaki salmon. Let's go. Let's go.